And so, yeah, this is a relatively recent translation, around 2015, by Sangye Khandro and Lama Chönam. And it's another synthesis by Longchen. He's really just putting it together in a nice, accessible way, usually accessible, if we have a good translation. So, yeah, I'll just make a little way through this text exploration, and please join in if you have something to comment about or some questions and things like that. So, it is similarly stated in the absence of syllables Tantra, if the mind is sustained without view or meditation, that is the crux of the Dharmakaya. Now remember, we talked about phases. At first, to peel yourself out of the movement of your mind, you could start with being aware of thoughts, just noticing how thoughts are within awareness. That's not a mind that's sustained without view or meditation. That's um, you're still kind of in the mix, in the movement of your mind, because the egoic pattern is still there, and you haven't zoomed out of that psychic chamber or psychic dimension. So you can be in various psychic dimensions. You could be in the basic space of phenomenon, the whole thing. That's the one dimension that holds all. You can be in the subjectivity, the manas vichnan, the ego patterning, the habit of the ego, and then the egoic isolation then isolates itself even more into thoughts and emotions, which is like the turtle shell. There, you have this cognitive construct that isolates you into uh, a smaller dimension of consciousness. When you get further along, when you start to peel yourself out of thoughts and emotional patterns, then awareness is naturally self sustained, self knowing, self liberating. And that's the mind sustained without view or meditation. There's no view to hold, there's no meditation to enact. Everybody understanding that, yeah? Okay, very good. So, if the three strengths of the view are perfected, then appearances will be the expanse of the Dhammakaya. Maybe, Yeshi, you can give us the three strengths. I think I remember them, but I want to be sure. So, if there is no distraction based on activities, that is the ground of the blissful Dharmata. Or basis would be a lot better of a word there, because ground implies some type of substantiality. So if there is no distraction based on activities or sense indulgences, sense attractions, that is the basis of the blissful Dharmata. Staying in solitude, then the three strengths will occur from within. If present cognition is taken as the companion, then everything will become the soul state of stability or shamatha. So yeah, solitude we're going to be talking about in our previous session, the inner hermitage from the R.E.S. Jungner text. Nowadays you may not be able to find solitude, but I encourage you that if you have the slightest opportunity to break physically free, there's plenty of land around. You can build your own home with solar panels, water catchment. You can even grow your own food. You can live with space. You don't need to be totally in solitude, even, but you can have your space. There's plenty of land on this earth, and it's very easy to build a home, actually. It may seem complicated, but it's not. And so, where you can buy a little tiny house or something so easy, or a camper, anything, and just be free physically. It does help out in certain cases. And then also, right now, to leave a small footprint, I think is very good if you can do that. Leave a small environmental footprint. Maybe the big corporations and people aren't doing their side of it, but we can do our side of it and be kind to the environment and boycott any kind of plastic and trash products and things like that, and um, be mindful spenders, mindful eaters, and it goes a long way. So, staying in solitude, yeah, the three strengths. I don't know. Yes, maybe we haven't found those yet. It's at the tip of my tongue. I don't know if they're referring to body, speech, and mind in the wisdom state or not, but it's okay. I'll. Oh, you got it, huh? View meditation and action. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. So, yes, you pasted here. In Dzogchen, the three strengths typically refer to the three aspects of practice: view, tawa, Lama Lina's favorite term; meditation, gompa, which would be probably gompa me, like no meditation; and then action, yurpa, yurwa, yurpa. Okay, so. The meditation would be madhyamaka. It would be effortless, the middle way, and same with action. Um, but let's see what Longchen continues to say about the three strengths. Now we know what they are: view, meditation, and action. VMA, okay, for you acronym heads out there. Got to go to the VMAs. Deeds may be better because is not of karma. Yeah, and they usually use intent too, but I don't know. You do have right action in the Eightfold Path. Okay, well let's keep on going. If there's no distraction based on activities, that is the basis of the blissful Dharma. Yeah, we've gone through that. If always abiding within that, what more is necessary? Great appearances fully abide with everything, as that is the essence of secret mantra. So the mantra yana, Vajrayana. Um, I do want to say that as you continue to do short sessions, I'm confident that more and more presence will absorb you, and you'll start to come into the whole mind. And that to me is when it really locks you in, it seals you in. So it's a Mahamudra. Any questions or comments so far? All right. So 83322113311662221 says, just kidding. It's a little shorter than that, but these numbers are long. Awareness subsumed as the great evenness of total liberation. Tantra says, for the third section, awareness subsumed as the great evenness of total liberation, there are two parts: a general explanation concerning the fundamental nature of total liberation, and a specific explanation concerning the enumerations. General explanation concerning the fundamental nature of total liberation. Yeah, they have it like this in many of the Dharma texts, like by Dujam Rinpoche and things like that. You'll just see layers upon layers of explanation. You have the short, the medium, the long, and it just keeps on breaking in the substack. So, first, among the two subsections of nature and distinctions, nature means recognizing the meaning of naked awareness. I would say recognizing naked awareness. Meaning implies conceptuality. Conceptuality. So remember, this text pretty much is defining things for us. So it's more of a technical, maybe very specific in general. If you're not into the nitty gritty of the Dharma, it's okay. All of this is complementing. It can complicate too. It's complementing our 10-minute sessions. Your view. It's nothing really to ponder and figure out intellectually. But it is, this text seems to be really giving us thorough breakdowns of the terms. And I wish we had the Tibetan right next to it. That would be great. maybe we'll get that. So yeah, you're recognizing the first among two subsections. This is the general explanation concerning the fundamental nature of total liberation. So, namely, when resting, there's complete expansion into that awareness, and when arising, by resting in that nature until tranquil, then thoughts will vanish as traceless and unimpeded. In the reverberation of sound tantra, it tells us, from the soul, wisdom, intent, nothing wavers. Wisdom beingness. They stick that way. It's good because they're agreeing on it. I've seen that by Richard Barron, and several other translators are okay with that intent. But still, from the soul, wisdom, beingness, nothing wavers. Intent has contrivance inherent to the definition of that word intent. Buddhas have effortless action, so there's no intention. So, given that appearances are lucid onto themselves like a face within a mirror, this liberation is liberated upon itself. The movement of cognition vanishes in emptiness, so visual cognition is not other than awareness. Hallelujah! Woo! We won't hear that very often, will we, everybody? They just told you right there. Now, like 90% of our reality is made out of the visual cognition. We're very visual. But once you start to see that that's all mind, oh man, what a shift. You almost go from being this pre-programmed drone to, wow, I'm free. Because you're stuck behind the eyes, right? Like almost robotic. And then everything's catching your attention, and we're like a moth attracted to our own stuff. But here it says, appearances are cognition onto themselves, like a face in the mirror. So your experience right now, we're caught up in the reflections. Now I'm speaking generally. Many yogis in here, you're probably not that caught up in them. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. You are the teacher to tell that. But this life is the reflections. Everything you're seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, etc. Thoughts, emotions, they are the reflections in the mirror. But somehow, by the grace of all these wonderful lineages and everything, we were pointed to the reflexivity, the fact that this mirror can reflect anything. And so, by the reflexivity, aka awareness, you start to warm up to the mirror. Now you start to become the mirror, even though the reflections are still there. Reflections are still happening, but because you got pointed to this reflexivity, this nature of the whole thing, now you see? Now you are the prism, the mirror. And the reflections still can happen. Making sense? Anybody have anything to say about that? Nobody wants to challenge that? It makes perfect sense, huh? You want to fight me? I'm just kidding. No, it makes it. Dharma, you got a lot of debaters, I got a lot of you guys on that one. All right, very good. So it says here, the liberation occurs upon itself. Oh, goodness. This is like dousing myself in sweet nectar right now. Just 5 words. Secret to life. This liberation occurs upon itself. You don't have to do anything. Yeah. I feel like I'm taking a shower, which I don't do very often. Okay, so it says here, since by knowing this one point, everything is set free, the enumerations of 2 and 3 are exhausted. So I don't know if that's referring to dichotomies and trichotomies of subject, action, object. If you know, go ahead and inform us. So it says there is no perception of an object based on confused mind. Yeah, concepts or fixation. Thus, movement and fixation are primordially empty. Since the wisdom intent of emptiness is lucidly perfected, the many enumerations are completely exhausted. So, enumerations there seems like a vague term. Maybe they will clear it up for us, but I think it's referring to all the different appearances and objects and everything. But it could also be enumerations, meaning very specifically the Dharma enumerations in the canon. Yeah, what was it?
I'm not super knowledgeable, but in some texts, enumerations like mean all the things that correlate with the same numbers usually mean the same thing. Like the tree usually means the refuges and so forth, and those
Yes,
all like correlate, right? I
that's what
think
I
it's
think.
talking about,
Okay,
yeah, like the analysis. I think is the
that makes sense. Okay, thank you. And
okay.
so we can also say, since the wisdom beingness of emptiness or suchness of emptiness is cognitively perfected, the many enumerations are completely exhausted. Yeah, it probably represents the Dharma enumerations. Is that what you're saying, Ozo? Of the teachings?
Yeah, I think so.
No.
That would make sense. I think here.
By the way, there's a Wikipedia, I think it's Wiki somewhere that has all or a lot of the enumerations.
Rigpa wiki, yeah.
It goes
That's
from
very useful. Huh.
yeah, it goes from like 1 to 100 or whatever.
Yeah, I use that a lot because it not only has like the an explanation of the things, but also that page with all of the numbers.
You got like one ekayani, the single path. You got the two truths. You got the three poisons. You got the four noble truths. You got the five perfections, six perfections, five poisons. You got the 7 points of posture, the eightfold path, the nine yanas, the 10 perfections. We can just keep on counting. Oh yeah. So we
That's something
can.
I
Huh? Yeah.
That's something I only saw in the Dharma. Like, I don't think there is in many other traditions except maybe like some scientific stuff, modern scientific things. But that's like very specific and useful and memorizable as well. I think the debate traditions that are still used in like Tibet with the clapping and stuff. I think those make it very helpful for those stuff. I like that a lot. But I don't know if there's like anywhere to learn it.
At one of the monasteries, they will. But this was because they had oral lineages. Even still now, they have oral lineages passed through words, and these are mnemonic devices, right?
Yeah, I mean, in old times they said they like memorized all of the Longchen books as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
Would be hard.
they do it. Oh my goodness! If you see a Tibetan monk, most likely they have endless scriptures memorized, or none.
Yeah, that's very popular in Turkey with memorizing the Quran and stuff. But that's like one book, right? In the Dharma, there's endless scripture pretty much.
Yeah, I noticed that with the Bible too. The hardcore people memorize it, but having just one book for the source of everything to me is inherently going to trip you up a little bit. But they use one book to kind of tell them everything about life, and nothing challenges that book. They can't cross reference or contrast, and uh, uh,
Yeah, that gets like way too constricting, I feel.
proprietary. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best word for that. Yeah, thank
and
you.
the text itself is quite outdated. It's old language.
Especially because like they usually use a King James version, right? From the very old times, not the like modern form.
Yeah, well, I guess they do have more modern rewrites, don't they? Okay, I better go easy. I don't want to talk about religion, and I really admire everybody's religion. So it can be quite beautiful, but sometimes it can be very, very destructive when we get too into our beliefs. That's all I'm saying, and using limited references. Thankfully, in these groups, we really cross-reference in a wide array of sources, which I think empowers us. we're not afraid to be compatible with science or other religions, um, which makes it healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also culturally beneficial. Like you can talk about it with less than one, more than one. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Any other comments, questions, sharing? Everyone good? All right. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. Very nice. And don't forget to pat yourself on the back, okay? You're doing really amazing. And I hope you're getting everything you need, all your food and water and everything like that. Comfortable. So we'll end here with a moment of silence for the dedication. These gatherings are considered very meritorious, and there are beings in this very presence that are suffering, and we dedicate all that merit to them. And deep bow to you, everybody. Have a beautiful day.